Let's welcome him in. The UFC light heavyweight champion of the world, Jon Jones, joins us live from Times Square in New York City. And you got a big match against Alexander Gustafsson coming up. You finally got that inked 2-hour meeting with UFC. A lot of confusion leading up to it. But during that 2-hour meeting, what was said in there that finally got this rematch together?
Basically, I just needed to get in front of the company and come up with an agreement on location and, maybe renewing contracts and things like that. We hadn't spoke, and so there's a lot of confusion going on. But we have a date, and we still don't have a location, and that date being September 27th, one of the biggest rematches in UFC history, myself versus Alexander Gustafsson.
Now, you recently said that the reason that you're fighting Alexander again is because it's what the people want. If you had your druthers, if it's what you want, who would you be fighting?
You know what? The fight is what the people wanted to see, but also me and the UFC had to talk. So me as a champion, I really didn't care who I fought. I knew me and Alexander was going to have the rematch at some point. I knew Daniel Cormier was undefeated and a great challenge. I ended up with Alexander. It is what the fans wanted to see, and I'm happy with the fight opportunity.
Straight up, who's more deserving, Alexander Gustafsson or Daniel Cormier right now to be fighting for the light heavyweight championship of the world?
Who's more deserving?
Yeah.
I would say Daniel Cormier has better accolades and he has a better record. He's undefeated and he's beaten former world champions before. He is a world champion in the Strikeforce organization. So I would say Cormier. But I think the fans want to see me fight Alexander more, and I think that's what's most important.
You got to give the fans what they want. How would you describe your relationship right now with Dana White and the UFC as a whole?
I think we have a very healthy relationship. I went to go meet with Dana White and Lorenzo Fertitta a few days ago, and we had a 3-hour meeting where we just sat, we just talked about our feelings towards each other, and then we got down to business. And I think we're in a real clear playing field right now, a clean slate, and we're looking to build from here. So we actually talked about being in a personal communication more often, and calling each other, not going through management as much. And I'm really excited to do that and just really move forward with the UFC.
Besides the communication part of things, what did you clear up? What is the most important thing that you guys cleared up to put you on the same page?
Mainly just it was communication. That was our main problem. That was really our only problem. Just hearsay stories of certain situations that had happened where it would have been best for Dana and Lorenzo to talk to me directly. We could have avoided a lot of situations in the past. So that was our main issue, was the lack of communication. And we all acknowledged and addressed that, and I think things are going to really be an up and up from here on out.
Now, I know this fighting's not until September, but let's talk about this rematch with Alexander Gustafsson, because it was a tough fight, and that's why a lot of people want to see it again. He had you on the ropes for the first couple of rounds, and then you became the champion that you are and overcame him. How will the fight in September be totally different from the one that you had before?
It's hard to say. It's hard to say. Alexander's a very smart guy. He has a very respectable corner, so I'm sure they're going to come up with a new strategy to approach this fight differently. I'm certainly going to come up with new strategies and already focused on new techniques that I saw, from openings in the past. My prediction is that, I'll finish the fight, and if not finish, dominate the fight. I've been able to do that to almost everyone I've ever faced. Alexander's actually the only guy I never dominated, and I believe when I'm dedicated, focused, and just extremely passionate and giving my all, that I can't be beat. And that's the way I believe, and that's the way I train, and that's what I'm looking to display and show on the 27th of September.
I love your heart, love your passion, love your accolades, everything you've done. I consider you like the LeBron of the UFC right now. You're the greatest that's out there, yet you're very polarizing. Why do you think you're so polarizing? Why do you think there's such a love-hate relationship with you and the fans?
Oh, man, it's just a lot of luck, man. A lot of luck, blessings, and a lot of hard work. And that's really it. Mainly that hard work and just good things have been happening, and having a positive attitude and work ethic.
Do you care what the fans think about you as far as, your image and things like before, when LeBron, before he started winning championships, he cared too much about what the fans thought of him? How do you feel when it comes to the relationship with the fans and how they feel about you?
You know, I realized a lot of great athletes, you know, had problems with fans in the midst of their careers, and I think they're a lot of times appreciated more once they retired or once people look back on what they really were able to accomplish. You know, LeBron right now in his prime, he gets hated on so hard. You name it, all the greatest athletes, you know, they have to deal with this adversity, and I'm embracing it and realizing that, you know, if I wasn't working so hard and if I wasn't in this position, no one would care, no one would be talking. So I just, I find a way to be grateful for the hate, and I try to show my appreciation for all the positivity.
You know, I'm going to get a lot of flack just from the fans alone because I'm saying I really do truly believe you're the greatest UFC fighter of all time. I'm going to get flack for that because people are going to throw their names out there and say, well, he hasn't done this, he hasn't done that, he ran from this guy, whatever. How important is it to you when it comes to your legacy to be considered the greatest UFC fighter of all time?
Yeah, man, it's very important to me. You know, I'm a guy from a small town. You know, well, I grew up in Rochester, New York. You know, I never envisioned being here where I am today in life. And you know, once I realized that I could be good at being an MMA fighter, I decided that I wanted to be great. And I've been trying to speak that way, live that way, and act that way, train that way. I believe in greatness, you know, and you know, I'm already a champion, and now I'm just striving to become the greatest champion to ever play the sport. It's very important to me.
You are tremendous, man. Finally, before we let you go, you're on the cover of the EA Sports UFC video game that comes out tomorrow. It's the reason you're with us today. In that game, you can fight as anyone in any generation, including Bruce Lee. I'm talking about the greatest martial artist of all time. But if you could get a matchup against anyone from any generation, who would it be?
Man. You know what? I would have to go after Muhammad Ali.
Wow.
Muhammad Ali. He was such a magnificent martial artist, and he was the greatest of all time. You know, he's known as the official greatest, and to be able to compete against him in my prime would be phenomenal.
Who would win?
I think in a martial arts match, I would definitely win. You know, the wrestling and the jiu-jitsu and the kicking, I think it would be too much for him. But in a boxing match, I don't think I'd last one round.
Jon Jones, my man. Always a pleasure talking to you, man. Best of luck to you in September, and best of luck with you in the video game.
Hey, thank you so much. Make sure you guys get out there and order that game. You won't regret it.